Segregation is when people and facilities was sectioned off. They didn't want any intermingling or any race mixing. So certain facilities like bathrooms, restaurants, parks, even water fountains, they was only applied in that particular location for a certain group or a certain race.
I'm March halfway. I started down there where we live in March. I'm March by 18 miles. I think that's where we live here, all the way to Montgomery. Marching, singing, and shall we shall overcome. All that's going, all the way up the highway. We marching, and the state troopers and all were right there guarding us. All the way, and then we camped one while, we stopped and ate up the road. And we marched on to St. Luke, St. Jude. St. Jude Church. There was the camp there all night. And then that next day they got up and marched to the Capitol in Montgomery. That was they had a big meeting. But that day I went back to work that day. I didn't go up there. And that's what was happening down there when Martin Luther King got assassinated. You know, he was down in Tennessee that time. Down there where they had a meeting for the garbage folks. You know, when they were kind of meeting on there. It was what the protesting and all that stuff down there
the garbage
in Tennessee. Garbage people.
What about the story with Rosa Parks with the bus boycott where y'all had to walk?
Yeah, with the bus car, I still was there, but we was riding the buses, stuff like that, when they used to do, little junior, we would ride, black folk would ride buses down there then. But after the bus filled up halfway, they had to reach outside and get our money and send us to the back.
You put a quarter in there.
And after the back filled up, you know what I mean? Ain't no more DNF. They have no more room for the white. They have the black to get up and stand up then all the way whatever they get ready to get off. That's the way it was down there back in the 65.
I love 50-something.
It was 65 when the bus boycott started.
55.
Clay!
Yeah. Oh, he done took off.
Clay, where are you at?
He done took off now.
What are you doing?
So you don't have to put the quarter on the bus, get off the bus. Daddy, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then go in the back of the bus. Is that correct?
And then white people didn't have a seat.
When you get on, put your quarter in.
They had to get up and give them their seat.
Is that correct?
Anyway, then we was riding the buses down the city bus. See, the black sit way in the back. And then we used to get on until we fill up halfway where we supposed to sit,
Mm-hmm.
And then after so many people, they stop for the bus stop, and the bus driver reaches and get your money and send you to the back. When the back fill up, that was it, They can pick up, they can't ride can't pick up nobody else, you know what I mean? But if there's enough room for white, they want the black to get up and let the white sit there. That's when Rosa Parks at that time. She said she was tired, had been working on, wouldn't get up. And that time they rested her that time. Because she wanted to get up and let a white man, who there was, to take her seat. That's the way it was back then in the 1950s.
So I've seen a couple of videos today, which is so very odd to me, romanticizing segregation and talking about how, they should have never pushed for integration and we should always stay segregated. Everything was so much better when it was segregated. Y'all, I don't think that a lot of y'all fully understand what segregation was. I think a lot of y'all seem to be laboring under the delusion that segregation was all like places like Greenwood or Atlanta or Rosewood or places where there were these like robust black middle classes that had black doctors and black lawyers and black, entrepreneurs and all of these things. And that did exist in some spaces, right? Like, I'm not saying that didn't exist at all, but y'all seem to be forgetting that in a lot of cases, segregation did not mean that they were just black versions of everything that white folks had or possibly better. Segregation in a lot of cases meant the complete and utter lack of resources altogether. Like in a lot of black communities, especially if we're talking out throughout the South, ain't no black doctors, ain't no black dentist. There's a root worker. And that's why that root worker is so important to the community. But there's no black hospital to go to. In some cases, there weren't even necessarily a black school to go to because there was no funding allotted for that. It was a complete and utter starving of resources. So when you talk about kind of folks engaging in the push for integration, it's not that folks were pushing for integration because they just had such reverence for white folks or anything like that, or just wanting to be around them. That's where the resources were. The strategy was essentially, if you've already shown me, the society, you've already shown me that if you separate me off, you're going to starve me from resources. So maybe if I go into your space where there are resources, I can go get some of those fucking resources and come back and bring them back to my community. Now, the problem came that a lot of folks, instead of going to get those resources and coming back to their community, they went to get them resources and they stayed there. And then they tried to endeavor into assimilation, and that sparked a whole other thing. So yes, we can talk about integration as a failed policy because it did fail. But the intention behind that was not about like wanting so bad to be around or be close to the dominant caste. It was about going where the resources were to try to get some of those and take them back to your community. But here's the thing that blows me about these conversations whenever I see it bubble up, because this is not the first time I've seen this, is, baby, you don't have to romanticize segregation and about what things were when they were segregated. You live in segregation right now. We live in de facto segregation. Look around the city that you live in. The black folks probably live together. The Latino communities probably live together. The Asian communities probably live together, and the white communities probably live together. There maybe are select enclaves where things are mixed, but for the most part, people live in de facto segregation. Even when it comes to schools, there have been studies done on this. Schools are just as segregated now as they were when Brown v. Board of Education was decided. You know, it's just that instead of having it on paper in the law, where there are designated black schools and designated white schools, you have like school districts on the whole that are majority black and brown, which are starved of resources, and schools that are majority white that have resources. Or you have folks going to parochial or private schools that kind of segregate in that way. But you don't have to romanticize or pass about, man, they should have never integrated, because it's damn near like they never did. We live in segregation right now. You don't have to dream about it. You're living it. Now, my question is when you understand that, is it working for you? Is it still something worth romanticizing? Because, baby, you're living in it right now. It's happening. Like right now, right this moment. You're living segregated. So now what? Because a lot of y'all have a lot of disrespect for our ancestors.
If they were to bring back segregation, you have to consider the fact that there's a lot of black and white people who have relationships. So that would affect these interracial couples significantly. Because if you're together, right, as a couple, or you're married, but then the restaurants, you know, the shopping centers, the places where you need to go, if it says one particular race on the storefront or on the sign, how is a black and white couple going to navigate through society if everything is separated? So segregation today would affect black and white couples.
Okay, y'all, so I know y'all see that Trump has removed that ban on segregated facilities, and we're here to talk about it. Okay, so for one, with me being a black African-American woman raised in the United States of America, I, for one, feel like everyone of the black race that's not white, Caucasian, whatever you want to call it, I feel like we should not think that everybody of that race is in agreement with Trump. It's people out there that truly cannot stand his decisions and the things he feel like will make America great again. So with that being said, I feel like we shouldn't treat everybody of the Caucasian community like as if they are in agreement with Trump, because it's people out there that really will stand on business for us. Y'all just gotta learn how to like accept the, you know, the help that they could give us, because Trump, I don't know what he got going on, but whatever he feel like he's doing, it ain't it. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not okay with it at all. I think it's completely absurd. Okay, I feel like Trump is so intimidated by us for no reason, but a major reason at the same time, because he know we're so powerful. But honestly, not only us as African Americans, but the Hispanics and even the Asians can make America great along with the whites. But he just have to learn how to make us all like a unity instead of like trying to separate us like we're back in the day, because like we're beyond all that. We should be beyond that. So that's kind of my opinion on it summed down. But Rachel's gonna tell y'all her opinion on this whole situation.
All right, so my opinion on the topic is that is honestly sad and ridiculous. Like disregarding the year, yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's 2025, we're past that. It should have never been anything to get past to begin with. I feel like people who think that's an acceptable way of thinking or believing is just incredibly hateful, and they just have hate in their hearts. Honestly, I couldn't imagine looking at someone that wasn't Caucasian or white or whatever, and even having a second thought in my mind, whether or not to like them or not like them due to their skin color. I mean, like, just for instance, my girl is going to be a nurse. Like, she could have someone come in that was a white person, and she could be the very person that saves their life. So at the end of the day, you never know who you're going to encounter. You never know who you're going to actually need help from that isn't the same color as you. So I don't understand why people are so like rude and just hateful to people that aren't like them. I just think I honestly think it's sad, and I'm disgusted by it.
And that's our TED Talk.
So they want to bring back segregation now. I think people don't understand why black people fought for integration. We didn't fight for integration because we were dying to be with everyone else. We fought for integration because our tax dollars were not being used in a way that gave us opportunities like, going to college at any school that we wanted to, or going to a water fountain that had the same quality of plumbing as the white people, getting to eat it inside in the restaurant instead of out in the backyard on folding chairs, getting to go into any kind of store or business and have the same kind of shopping opportunities as anybody else. But it wasn't because we were dying to be with all these people. Now that we've had some education, now that we've proven that our black dollars make the world go round, now that we have continued to be creative and innovative, and now the fact that everybody basically is copying a lot of the things that we do, we can go back to being in our own communities and just hanging out with ourselves. We're fine.